welcome back to My Brain is a Wonderland, the podcast for neurodivergent women and the people who love them. You're here with your host Emily for the first episode of Film Fixation. I'm going to be doing once a month, the second to last Thursday of the month, a movie rewatch of a movie that I've hyperfixated on either in the past, currently, I was going to say in the future, but that makes no sense at all. So, they're probably going to be movies from 80s, 90s, 2000s, because I am a millennial, and those are the movies I've mostly fixated on in my life. And before we get started, I just wanted to give a shout out to my supporters out there. The whole reason I started this podcast was to connect with more people like me, and to have people like me not feel alone like I have in the past. And I went on to my Apple Podcast page just the other day, and I saw that I actually had a couple of written reviews, and man, did they touch my heart. So I just want to read them real quick and give a shout out to those people who wrote them. The first one is from someone's handle is Cy Gurlicence? Something like that. Sorry if I pronounced that incorrectly. The title is Must Listen for Neurodivergent Women. I relate so much to most of the things in this podcast. It really validates my own experiences. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. I am so happy it's resonating with so many people. This touches my heart in a way, honestly, I cannot even describe. And the second one is by The Rach, so I'm guessing that's Rachel. The title is Clarity. This podcast is fabulous. I feel so much clarity and peace when I listen to her journey with her diagnoses. The way she speaks is captivating for me. Oh, thank you. And I truly appreciate how transparent and honest the host is. Thank you for making My Brain is a Wonderland. And she left a heart at the end. So thank you guys for supporting me, for being there and listening, and I hope this is giving you as much joy and fulfillment and clarity as it is for me. So let's get started with today's Film Fixation episode, because this is probably going to be the longest episode I've ever done, because movie rewatch episodes tend to be pretty long. And I'm telling you guys, if anyone out there does a movie rewatch podcast, I admire you. I decided to do this and picked, once a month, and really had no idea when I got started how long it was going to take. You have to watch the movie, which I'm probably going to pick movies under 2 hours, around 90 minutes, just to make it easier on myself anyway. But even so, you have to take notes the whole time, pause the movie, then I'm going to record this and it's going to be really long, then I'm going to have to edit it. Honestly, if you do a movie rewatch podcast and you do it every week, bravo. I so admire you and realize how much work this takes now. So the first episode I'm going to do of Film Fixation today is going to be on the movie, the classic, the heart space movie that I love, Freaky Friday, the version from 2003 starring Lindsay Lohan and the Queen, Jamie Lee Curtis. Before I jump into the movie rewatch, I just want to give you a little bit of a back history on this movie. It's actually based on a book called Freaky Friday. I think it's from 1973, the book. Don't quote me on that. But it was by a US author, a woman, I believe. And in the book, they basically just make a wish. I think they make a wish at the same time, and I think that's how it is in the original Freaky Friday movie with Jodie Foster, and I used to love that movie when I was a kid as well. What I didn't know is that Freaky Friday, the book, is actually based off of another book from 1882, what a throwback, a UK book, and I believe that's called Vice Versa, and it's about a father and son, and they make a wish on a magic stone from India that grants one wish. And there's been a bunch of iterations after that in movies. There's the Freaky Friday movie I mentioned from the 70s with Jodie Foster. There's this Freaky Friday movie. They made another one on Disney that I haven't done. I think it's a lesbian couple. I could have totally gotten that wrong, but From the advertising, I think it's a lesbian couple with kids. I'm not sure who does the body switching, though. It might be the parents, or it might be kids and parents. There's also the movie Vice Versa from the 80s, which I love. And that's more based off of the original book, I think, the 1882 one. It's a father and son. And that one, again, draws on this, I want to say kind of othering vibe and imagery, in that the dad goes to Thailand, brings back a skull or something, like a Thai skull, and that is what makes them switch bodies. So in the original book, it was like a stone from India. Then in that movie, it's a skull from Thailand. And then we'll get into it with this movie, The Freaky Friday from 2003, but they also bring that back into it a little bit, and I'm not a huge fan. They basically decide that it's some kind of Asian, quote, Lindsay Lohan, Asian voodoo. And I really don't like that aspect of it. They could have just done that it was a wish. There's actually a great iteration of this movie called Wish Upon a Star. And I watched that recently again. They haven't remastered it, so it's really fuzzy. But it has Katherine Heigl in it as the main character, and it's two sisters who switch. And they just make a wish. There isn't like some artifact from some far-off country that's really weird and crazy. And so that's what made it happen, this like weird voodoo Asian stuff. So that's one of there's a couple of sticklers I have with this movie, and that's one of them. So let's get into it and start with the opening. So the credits start with a bunch of photos and art depictions of mothers with their daughters. And it's that song, I can't even think, the Imagine Me and You, do-do-do-do, do-do-do-do-do-do-do, whatever that song is. It's such a joyful song. I love that song. And it actually ends, the final two photos are real photos of Jamie Lee Curtis with, I guess, one of her daughters. I think she has one daughter. She has a trans daughter, I believe. And I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say, because, I don't know. I don't know completely. But I believe in the photo, you can tell it's a real photo of Jamie Lee Curtis with one or both of her children in each photo. And it's super cute and such a great throwback to put at the beginning of the movie. We open on a gorgeous white house with a double garage. It's not as big as a lot of the other TV houses you generally, or movie houses you generally see, right? Like in Home Alone, Father of the Bride, just these like houses that are redonkulous. And I have a feeling it's because this movie is set in LA. So this is like a rich person's house if you live in LA, right? Like it's big, but it's not that big. I mean, they really made you feel like as a millennial you were going to own one of these houses one day. Well, surprise, my house is just over 1,200 square feet. And I'm not going to say how much I paid for it, but it was too much. So no, I don't think I'll ever live in one of those houses, but it's a dream. And it looks like it's approaching fall. I think some of the leaves are kind of brown and falling off the trees. We see Lindsay Lohan's character, Anna. She is asleep flat out on her bed, and her alarm goes off at 6 a.m., which seems early to me. I don't know, like, when do you have to get to school? I had to be in school in high school by 8:45, I think. Like, that just seems really early to me to get up at 6 a.m. Jamie Lee Curtis, who plays Tess, her mom, Lindsay Lohan, Anna's mom, enters wearing this long-sleeved, like, to the floor, up to her neck, white nightgown. Like, this is a ridiculous outfit for a woman of her age, in my opinion, who lives in LA, who seems kind of cool. I don't know. It's a ridiculous outfit. We see then a montage of Tess. She's meditating, painting her nails. Seems like she's really kind of got it together, that she's focusing on her self-care. She knows what's going on. Clearly her meds have absolutely kicked in. She's been trying to get Anna out of bed. Anna's not going for it. She's classic teenager, cannot get out of bed. Tess heads downstairs, and she has like 5 cell phones, doohickey things. Like, it's a cell phone, like a flip phone. One is clearly a pager. I think the other is a Palm Pilot. You know, those ones that had a screen and you could kind of have a little pen to touch it and stuff. So she's a busy, important woman, I guess. I mean, I don't know. How many things did adults have in 2003? I thought it was just like the Palm Pilot, but I don't know. I guess you need all the other stuff too. We meet Anna's brother, Harry. He's having breakfast, I think, when we first see him, and then we see him in Anna's bedroom, and he wakes her up with an air horn, which, don't do that, guys. That can really wreck someone's hearing. That's no bueno, not a good plan. Yeah, no. The air horn clearly wakes Anna up, and she is ready for school in like 2 seconds flat. And her outfit, I don't know, I think it's so cool. I remember being obsessed with Lindsay Lohan. She's actually born in the same year as me. I think I'm like 2 months older than her though. But I was just obsessed with her, and I thought it was so cool that she was in movies playing her age, right? That it wasn't an adult playing a teenager that I couldn't relate to. She just seems so relatable. And she basically comes out in this like baseball 3/4 length t-shirt, which was all the rage when I was late 90s, 2000s. I definitely had a couple of those. I had one that had the Pink Panther on it, and I remember ordering these from eBay from the US. I ordered a short sleeve blue tight little t-shirt with the Superman logo on it, and I ordered a pink baseball 3/4 length tight t-shirt with the Pink Panther on it. And I remember receiving it in the mail. It was like such a big deal to get something from the US. She's got a chunky choker on, chunky wrist cuffs, and green combat pants. We can't see her shoes, but we eventually see that they're Converse. Duh. And she has the thickest 2000s eyeliner that was such a hit back then, and red hair, which was always really cool. Other than Molly Ringwald, we didn't really see many girls who were famous or cool. I guess Julia Roberts was too, but with like red hair, and she's got these chunky blonde streaks in, which I feel like nowadays is like, what? People hate that. But back then, the chunky streaks were it. She's just so cool. We cut to Tess is driving Anna and Harry, presumably to school, right? That's what I would assume. Anna wants an upper ear piercing, and Tess says she doesn't want her to look like a harlot at the rehearsal dinner. Excuse me, a harlot? Jeez Louise. So we know a wedding is afoot. She says rehearsal dinner. I don't think I've ever heard of a rehearsal dinner for anything else. I mean, I haven't. Maybe I'm wrong on that, but assume wedding. We see some classic, strained back and forth between mom and daughter. You know, fighting, arguing. Harry is in the back seat, kind of ribbing Anna a bit. And then we pull up to the school, and we see Stacy Hinkhouse. Great name, Hinkhouse? Okay. And she looks very twee. She's in an Argyle sweater. She's giving very much Mean Girls vibes, okay? Like that movie, like the plastics from that movie, but a little more twee, I guess. Like not wearing a micro mini. Anna clearly doesn't like this girl, but Tess calls her over to the car and is like, hey, like they know each other, but Anna's like, ugh, this is, like, please get her the hell out of here. There's some back and forth between Anna and Harry, which Harry instigates, by the way. Anna gets out of the car, slamming the door, she's over it, her mom is, like, being annoying, Harry's being annoying, da-da-da-da-da. And this is one of my favorite quotes of the movie, what Tess says next. When Anna gets out of the car, she goes, bye, honey, make good choices. And it's such, I mean, if my mom had said that to me when I was a teenager, that might have sent me over the edge. Like, to just, like, make good choices. Like, I hate you. You're driving me crazy. Get out of my life. Stop talking to me. I don't know why. It's just, like, even now, it's, like, triggering. It's like, oh, God, like, I would have hated you when I was a teenager. Anna's walking on campus, and it's a classic American high school, very large, lots of outdoor areas with cover and da-da-da. And she sees a girl wearing the same shirt as her, the same baseball shirt. Nightmare. So we Then see that she's put her shirt, Anna has put her t-shirt inside out, thinking that it will look cool that way. And you see all of the embroidery stitching, because it's inside out now, kind of hanging off the shirt. And honestly, I would have worn that. I don't know if people think it looks stupid watching that movie now, but it kind of, again, makes me think of Mean Girls, where they cut the holes out of the main girl's t-shirt so that her boobs show through. And then everyone the next day is wearing that kind of t-shirt because it's so trendy. And honestly, I thought Lindsay Lohan was the shiz, so I would have totally worn this. Then we see Anna with her 2 girlfriends, kinda edgy, pale-skinned, black-haired girl, Peg, and token minority girl wearing a shirt that says Chica on it, Maddie. I'm pretty sure... No, that's wrong. I was gonna say Maddie's the only minority other than the Chinese family that does the Asian voodoo, but actually Harry's teacher is a minority as well. So they kind of made some of the minor characters minorities, which is classic 2000s. And what was super common in the 2000s, which I think was their attempt to get away from a lack of diversity, was to make girl squads diverse based on their hair color. And if it wasn't just hair color of all these white women, they'd have one minority. So, for example, in Friends, they have Monica, super dark black hair, Rachel, light brown hair, Phoebe, blonde hair. Charlie's Angels, they have Lucy Liu, who's the minority. She's Asian with black hair. They've got Drew Barrymore with the red brown hair and Cameron Diaz with the blonde hair. And the same kind of for Mean Girls as well. I think I'm going to keep bringing this up, I guess. They've got the redhead with Lindsay Lohan, the brunette, and I guess they have 2 blondes in it, but it's this classic kind of like, this is what diversity is. We have white girls with different color hair, which is so bizarre because you know how many movies with men where they have like 2 brunettes? Or all the men are brunettes? Like, it's just so bizarre that they thought this is what diversity is. And I remember playing, like, these characters in school. I was just thinking, like, the Spice Girls as well. It was like a blonde, a redhead, a brunette, and then a black chick. Like, I think one of the only ones, I'm trying to think now, that had all the same look was Charmed. But Charmed, they were sisters. So you couldn't really have a blonde, a brunette, a redhead. They really had to be all, one hair color. And so they were all brunettes. Buffy is another one. Buffy was blonde. Willow was a redhead. Faith had brown hair. They just couldn't have, like, multiple people with the same color hair. It was 2 the same. Let's be diverse. So anyway, the 3 girls are hanging out, girl squad, chatting on high school campus, and then we see Jake. That is Chad Michael Murray, looking hot to trot. He is a good-looking guy. And I remember back in the day, he was it. I'm not a big fan of blonde guys, that's not really my type, but oh yeah, he was cute as hell. Very tall, he's got that floppy blonde hair, he's wearing a Von Dutch tee, which, if you were gonna do a, vintage throwback movie set in the 2000s, this is what he would be wearing. And maybe the girl would have a Von Dutch hat on, like trucker hat. Just amazing. He has this kind of puka shell-esque necklace, and looks a little, like, shy and pensive, like he could be a little bit sensitive, like, not too aggressive, not a bro, he's not throwing a football around, like when you first see guys in movies. He's, like, young and studious, maybe. I don't know. We find out that Anna has never met him, but she's clearly obsessed with him. She turns to say hi, and he basically blanks her. Which is no fault of him. They don't know each other, and she turns around and literally, like, opens her mouth, and he just kind of looks like, okay, I don't know who you are. Then we oscillate between Tess, Anna's mom, and Anna's lives. Tess, we see, kind of crashes her car going the wrong way in a parking lot while talking on the phone. Kind of gives this idea that, okay, maybe she doesn't have it all together. We cut back to Anna. She gets an F on her paper, and Mr. Bates, the teacher, writes preposterous on her, below the F on her paper, which I'm like, dude, the fact that you wrote preposterous is preposterous. Like, that is the most ridiculous statement to put. Like, thanks for the feedback, bro. Like, thanks. And it seems like he might have some kind of vendetta against her. That this is, he's going hard on her. Anna ends up getting detention, and that's the end of that. Then we cut to Stanford Blatch from Sex and the City. He's sitting on the floor, rocking, humming to himself, and we see Tess show up, and she's actually a therapist, and Stanford is actually called Evan, and he's one of her patients, and he's been waiting for her. Clearly not doing very well. We find out it's Tess's honeymoon next week, and Evan is worried that Tess won't be reachable by phone. Okay, I just cannot with this scene. I'm sorry, even if you're a therapist, like, your honeymoon, you're gonna be reachable by phone by your patients. Like, work-life balance, people. You've got to put some boundaries down at some point. I don't know. That just seems absolutely crazy to me. Like, absolutely crazy. Meanwhile, Anna is at school, and we see a classic high school gym montage where this is honestly giving me flashbacks. Stacy Hinkhouse, our favorite, Bitch, is terrorizing Anna. They're playing volleyball. She's throwing the ball at her head, kind of pushing into her. So Anna's done. It's been too much, and she retaliates and throws the ball at Stacy's head. This time, the coach actually sees this. She didn't see any of the Stacy stuff, apparently. It's just Anna is just terrible at not getting caught. And she blows the whistle, the coach, and it's detention again for Anna. Seems like this is a pretty common occurrence for her, unfortunately. Anna is leaving detention. She drops her bag. All of her stuff falls out, which is kind of a classic meet cute, right? I'm going to refer back to Buffy again. It's how Buffy and Xander meet. They don't end up getting together, but classic meet cute. You toss your bag, and some guy is like, oh, hey, can I help you with that? Cue slow acoustic guitar. We see scruffy boots walk into the frame, and it's Jake, who picks up Anna's guitar pick, so she plays an instrument, apparently. He's looking super hot again, and I had to look up his age before I threw that in there, because I don't know what's going on with the ages of these characters. I believe Lindsay Lohan is 17 in this movie. Well, Chad Michael Murray is 22 in real life in this movie, which... that's okay for me to say he's hot, but, she's 17, he's 22. I don't know about that. I don't know how old he's supposed to be in the movie. They never mention it. And I don't know if she's supposed to be 17 in the movie or 15. I forget if they mention what grade she's in. And as an English person, I don't even know what the grades mean. So, anyway. He's wearing his Viking leather jacket, which is hilarious to me because everyone, including myself back then, around 2000 to 2002, all had the same motorcycle jacket with the little popper at the top that closed and the zip, and hilarious to me. I had the jacket, my boyfriend in high school had the jacket, we all looked the same, and none of us rode motorcycles. Okay. So Jake asks her what guitar she plays, there's some flirting, there's a little bit back and forth. He tells her cute shirt to her inside-out shirt, and Anna says she's in a band. He offers to give her a ride on his motorcycle and hands her a helmet. Safety first, kids. Anna says, I'm good because my mom would kill me. They talk a little bit more, and he says, do you like the Hives? Which, honestly, I haven't heard of that band for years, maybe since 2003. Like, they were huge back then. I remember having their album. It was a big deal. Mr. Bates, the teacher who we saw earlier, calls Anna over, gives her more ribbing, super annoying. We see in the background that Stacy Hinkhouse is running for class president, of course. And Jake drives away on his motorcycle, and Anna is super disappointed. Anna comes home. We find her brother drumming on her guitar with drumsticks. She's very unhappy about that. A chase scene ensues, and Anna bursts into her garage in a super mood, and we find her band is waiting to practice, and her two friends are there, clearly part of the band, Peg and Maddie. Maddie is the main singer, and Peg is a bassist, bass guitar, I guess, because Anna turns out to be like, I don't know, main guitar, I don't know, the real guitar, I don't know. And the band, they're called Pink Slip, which, what a great name. This song is fire. I think about this song sometimes when I'm just chilling, and I'm like, wow, that song was so freaking good. If they ever had made an album, which I don't think they did, I think they just had a soundtrack with a couple of Pink Slip songs. There's a song in the final credits that's nowhere near as good as this song, but, oh, so good. Anna takes her frustration out and teenage angst out on this and really puts it into her music. She's, pushing hard, singing, playing guitar, it's all like good vibes. Tess comes home, she gets out of a taxi, I think, because, she crashed her car in that parking lot. And she's struggling with grocery bags, which Americans, I never understood this. Why the paper bags without the handles? Why? Why? This is so bizarre. I remember growing up, and there are so many movies and TV shows where the character is carrying paper bags and they burst from the bottom, and it's like a plot device, or it's something funny, or it shows like the person's had a really crappy day and the final straw is your paper bags broke. I'm telling you, everyone in the UK is like, what is that? You don't have to have plastic bags, but why don't they have handles? Like, doesn't Trader Joe's now, they have handles on their bags, or Whole Foods? I don't know. It's just always been so bizarre to me. Anna's brother, Harry, he runs outside, and he has underwear, I think it's his own underwear, it's not girl underwear, tied to his head, like around his face. And you can hear the muffled, loud sounds of the band practicing in the garage. Cut to Anna's grandpa in the kitchen, and that is when we first meet our silver fox, Ryan. He's in some TV show now, or was NCIS? Is that what he was in? I don't know. I think this was before that, I'm not sure. He's hot, I'm not into him, but I mean, maybe if I was in my 40s and had kids, a super hot guy. Ryan approaches Tess and brings over her new book. So, apparently Tess has written a book, and I'm telling you, this is the most 2000s book cover I have ever seen. It looks like, someone did it up in, like, Bitmap or something. It is the funniest thing I've ever seen. And it has, like, a weird name. It's just hilarious. And this is just when Anna and the band are getting into it. It cuts to Anna's infamous guitar solo, where Lindsay Lohan is just killing it. The solo always drives me wild. Tess is over it, and she flips the breaker on the garage, cutting all their power so they cannot practice anymore. What a Debbie Downer. The music stops, and we find out from the band leader, the lead singer Maddie, that one of the bands dropped out of the Wango Tango auditions, which when they said that, I was like, I have no idea what this is. I looked it up, actually, because I just wanted to see if it was a real thing, and it is a real thing. It's an annual day-long concert hosted by a radio show in LA since 1998, so I'm guessing in 2003 it was like the big thing, right? I think the last time they had it was 2020, or they tried to have it in 2020, and it hasn't come back since then. But just to give you some context, this is 2003, okay? At the 2003 Wango Tango, Christina Aguilera performed. So this is a big deal. I don't know if this is realistic, that like a high school band with 17-year-olds would actually get in, but this is a big deal. I guess they're pretty good. I mean, their one song is incredible, so whatever. Maddie says they are first alternate, but the audition is tomorrow, which is a Friday. Freaky Friday. Unfortunately, that's also Tess and Ryan's rehearsal dinner for their wedding. Anna promises she won't let the band down, and she'll get her mom to say yes to it, and Maddie and Peg are not believing it. They kind of go off like, okay, dude, whatever, sure, we know your mom. Anna goes back up to her room and finds her brother with two of his friends. He's reading her diary, and he's wearing her bra. She tries to slam her door, she chases them out of her bedroom, but the door is gone. And I just want to say, right now, this kind of seemed funny back then, but, like, you see those TikTok parents who have removed their kid's door? That's not cool, dude. Like, there's a lot of things you can do, but, like, to take away someone's bedroom door, like, that, like, where do you get changed? Where do you have moments alone? Like, this is where I feel like no one ever took my door, but I feel like I fell in love with showering, because showering puts you completely alone. You can lock the door and it's not weird. So I just want to say, don't do that. Don't ever do that. That's really cruel. Anna runs downstairs and she finds Tess sitting at the dinner table, and she's literally looking like a mob boss waiting for a meeting, like super official, like, come talk to me. What are we gonna do? Anna tells her that everyone's out to get her, which is actually true. Her brother is ribbing her all the time, and Tess doesn't see it. Her teacher is up her butt for no reason, or there is a reason, but I'm not going to say it right now. But Anna's doing well in school, and her teacher, Mr. Bates, is like a nightmare. Anna tells Tess about Jake, and Tess actually makes fun of her, which is like, okay, dude, like, why? Ryan tries to break the mood, kind of, be the good guy. I mean, he really seems like a good guy, and as we go throughout the movie, he really is. And he invites everyone to get Chinese food. Well, thank you very much. I would love to get Chinese food. We cut to the House of Chang in Old Chinatown I was gonna say I'm gonna assume San Francisco, but they're in LA. So, in LA. And we see Tess, Ryan, Anna, Harry, and Grandpa are having dinner. The hostess, Pei Pei, I don't know where to really start with this. The actress's name is Rosalind Chow, and you've probably seen her in a bunch of stuff. She's not super famous, but you kind of see her and you're like, oh, I've seen her in this, that, and the other. Her accent is nuts. It's fine if you speak that way. If they wanted someone who spoke that way, why didn't they hire an actress who spoke that way? She has an American accent, and her accent is, like, so ridiculous. They basically made her lean into this kind of stereotypical Chinese accent, and it's really where the beginning of the, like, the cultural, other than, like, Maddie's token minority character, like, really gets a little bit like, okay, why are we doing this? Why do we need to have the quote-unquote Asian voodoo as part of this, when they could just make a wish? And making wishes is very, culturally, I don't know, it's across the board, making a wish. There's no issues there. So Pei Pei greets them, and they're sitting down at the restaurant, they're ordering food, blah, 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 blah. Ryan seems, again, like a really nice guy. He's trying to ingratiate himself to Anna, which isn't working. And Anna asks Tess if she can go to the audition, the Wango Tango audition, instead of the rehearsal dinner. Of course, Tess is not happy about this. An argument ensues, and Tess pulls Anna aside at the restaurant. Pei Pei and her mom, apparently, they work there. It's like a family business. They see the fight, and it looks like the mom is up to something. Anna walks off, and Tess asks if this is about Anna's dad. So clearly there's no biological dad. Yeah, like her, biological dad is not in the picture. We don't know why. Ryan is a new guy. He's a stepdad marrying in guy. And, I really like that about the movie, that they don't stick on this plot point. I don't want this movie to be about how she has daddy issues, this, like, daddy issues trope. It's really more about the mother-daughter trope, I guess, which I really like. And I don't want it to be like, well, the reason you have issues with me is because of your dad. It's mentioned a couple of times, and there's a moment at the end that I'm going to talk about that's really featuring Ryan. But I'm so glad they didn't, like, lean into that, to be honest. My dad died when I was very young. You'd know that if you listen to a lot of the other episodes, but I just love that that wasn't, like, the trope. They're talking, they're arguing, and Tess says, high school isn't that hard. Excuse me? What? I'm not saying it was hell for me, but dude, if you said to me tomorrow you're going back to high school, I would cry. I would literally cry. I don't even know what I would do with that. And Anna says, you couldn't last a day in my high school. And Tess is like, actually, I could. There's a little bit of foreshadowing for you there. They're arguing, and the mother, Pepe's mom, comes over with 2 fortune cookies. It's like, dude, what are you doing? This is not the time, blah, blah. They take the fortune cookies, and Anna shuts herself in the bathroom. They each, Anna and Tess, break open their fortune cookie, and they read the fortune. And here's what it says. A journey soon begins, a prize reflected in another eyes. When what you see is what you lack, then selfless love will change you back. There's an earthquake, which is common in California, so it's not like, oh my god, what happened? Tess and Anna do they hug? I forget, but Anna comes out of the bathroom, they're like, are you okay? Like, that was an earthquake? That's not good. They re-enter the restaurant, and they talk to people, and they realize that no one else felt the earthquake, no one else at the table knows what they're talking about, and they're like, weird. Zoom in to a very suspicious-looking Pepe's mom, and then we see Anna and Tess sleeping in their respective bedrooms. Midnight hits, and they switch bodies. Next morning, we can hear Tess's thoughts, but we pan up to Anna's face. And just for clarity, I'm going to refer to the body from here on out when I'm talking. So if it's Tess in Anna's body, I'm just going to say Anna. And if it's Anna in Tess's body, I'm going to say Tess. Every once in a while, if it's relevant, I'm going to say Anna, who is Tess. Just so we know what we're talking about. Anna is in her bedroom talking with Tess's voice, and she's worried that she passed out in her daughter's room. She's awake, she starts touching her body, going, that's not mine, and grabs her butt, Anna's butt, and says, that's definitely not mine. She sees herself in the mirror and realizes that she is in Anna's body. Harry comes to Anna and says that he's worried their mom is dead. So Anna runs up to Tess's bedroom, only to find her slumped in bed. Anna says it's breathing, like we're watching the invasion of the body snatchers or something. It's hilarious. Anna gets rid of Harry by saying, you can eat Anna's cereal, and Anna tries to poke Tess awake. Which is funny. She says you can eat Anna. I think she says, you can eat you can eat my cereal. Tess wakes up and sees Anna's body in front of her, freaks out, and is like, this is the invasion of the body snatchers. What is going on? Anna says, don't take that tone with me, and Tess realizes in that moment it is her mother. She runs to the mirror and sees Tess's body. Cue the absolute iconic line, oh, I'm like the Crypt Keeper! And they both start screaming. And remember, Tess's wedding is tomorrow. So they start talking about, what should we do? Should we go to the ER? They would think we're crazy. We're going to get sectioned, blah, blah, blah. And then they say, well, maybe we could slam our bodies together. They stand on opposite sides of the room, sprint towards each other, literally slam each other together, and it does not work. They're just in pain. They go downstairs, and they see that they are the only ones affected by this body swap. They realize that the earthquake at the House of Chang was the culprit, right as Ryan shows back up at the house. He's here to pick up Tess to take her to work. And she says, darling, could you, chill for a sec? I mean, there are so many quotes in this, especially by Jamie Lee Curtis. Her delivery, she is stunning in this role. I cannot imagine that they had anyone else on the cards to play this role. She's just fire in this role. Meant to be so good. And Ryan is so understanding. I mean, every time we meet him, it's like, you're a great guy. You really are a great guy. They go upstairs, Tess and Anna says Pei-Pei's crazy mother must have done some Asian voodoo. And I'm like, oh, come on, dude. Like, it's so 2000s, though. It's really one of those things. It's like going back to the 70s and 60s, and you're like, oh, God. You know, it's crazy to say, but this kind of stuff was just acceptable back then. I'm sure some Gen Z would, watch this and be like, geez Louise, what is this? But it was really just acceptable. This was like the stepping stone to inclusivity and diversity, like the inclusion of Maddie with her Chica t-shirt was like, oh, so inclusive. We have a, Hispanic on the team. Like, I don't know what we were doing, but you can't go from all white to completely diverse, so we went through this really strange period in the late 90s and 2000s that no one wants to think about. It just wasn't good. And also, voodoo is from West Africa, and I know that because I was an anthropology major, which this might be the only time my degree has ever been relevant. But the cultural misses just keep coming, and it's one of the things that really ages this movie. But they basically start to discuss how they can kind of fake being each other for the time being. They don't know how they're going to switch back, so how can we, deal with this? Anna wants Tess to see her favorite patient, Evan, the Stanford Latch guy, because apparently Tess has been seeing him every day for 3 years. Dude, I'm not going to judge mental health, but what do you do for a job that you can see a therapist? I'm going to say every day means weekdays. 5 days a week for 3 years? Okay. Do you have the best healthcare ever? Is it free? This is ridiculous. Whatever. Then one of my favorite moments in the movie is they're getting dressed, and Anna realizes that her belly button is pierced. Tess comes in and is like, oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to tell you about that. Anna's freaking out. This is such a 2000s throwback, I swear to God. Everyone was getting their belly button pierced. It was all about the belly button, the, low-rise jeans and the little crop tops. Britney Spears had her belly button pierced. Everyone had it. I mean, if Britney did it, everyone had it, right? And then you see on the wall, shout out to the Emily the Strange poster. Super relevant to the time. I read a bunch of Emily the Strange, not just because my name was Emily, but, And she's literally wearing, Anna is wearing, the most ridiculous outfit. She's wearing these kind of old lady khaki pants. Not like the original rock and roll green ones, but, the kind of ones you, might wear if you work at Home Depot or something. And this blue button-up shirt. And, I think she asked Tess, how do I look? And she, do I look good or something? And Tess is like, yeah, if you're selling Bibles. I mean, Tess's quotes just keep coming, hit after hit. I love Lindsay Lohan, but I think Jamie Lee Curtis played Anna way better than Lindsay Lohan did. Jamie Lee Curtis is just a powerhouse. This is basically going to be a whole episode about how Jamie Lee Curtis is a queen. Just FYI. Anna tells Tess that no one is going to pay $150 to get therapy from a stripper, which so is that what this guy Evan is paying? $150 per session 5 times a week? Man, I should have become a therapist, I tell you. But then I have to sit in a room and listen to people with my auditory processing issues, and it wouldn't be good. So Anna, Tess, Harry, and Ryan are driving to school and work, I guess, in the car together. And Tess notices that she has a platinum card in her wallet. Uh-oh. They drop Anna off at school, and Tess sees Jake, and Anna is like, no. He comes over, Anna is super weird because, duh, she's Tess, but it seems like he might have had a moment with Tess or something. Jake tracks down Anna and is clearly trying to get it. Anna rejects him, calls him Jason, and she links up with her friends and comes off like a total prude. She's like, get this guy away from me, what is going on? So Jake is actually feeling her now. After the bag drop and da-da-da, he's like, oh, okay, maybe, you have a guitar, you like the Hives, cool, whatever. Cool shirt, whatever. We then see Ryan drop Tess off at work, and he tries to kiss her. And again, Jamie Lee Curtis, amazing comedic physical comedy here. She says she has a cold sore coming on and is like, nope, don't kiss me, cold sore coming on. Which FYI is HPV, get vaccinated everybody. That's my PSA right there. And then instead of going to work, Tess walks by a store called Pink Ice, which, I don't know why it's pink slip and pink ice, but this is like a 2000s dream. Like, Pink Ice, it makes me think of the store Wet Seal. Like, who named a store that just, a wet seal? Like, when you think about what it actually means, Wet Seal, Pink Ice, I don't know. It's just hilarious. And then we see a montage of Tess buying clothes, getting her hair cut, getting her ears pierced, and then she walks out of another store after this montage looking freaking fire, dude. Her hair looks so much better. I did not like her hair at the beginning. I don't know if that was a wig. It kind of looked like it might have been. It was just such a dowdy, short wig. Here, if anyone's thinking about getting a pixie cut, because I have a pixie cut and people are so scared of it, a lot of the time shorter is better. Shorter is sexier and cooler. If you try to keep it longer, it can look a little bit dowdy, like your grandma kind of with short hair. So she comes out looking amazing. She has knee-high boots on, this really cool chunky necklace, and this funky dress. And this guy, maybe half her age, on the street says, "How's it going?" It's like, okay. Then all of a sudden, all of her phones, pagers, whatever things, start ringing in her bag. She drops her bag and realizes, I should probably be at work. Tess gets to her office. Her phone is ringing off the hook. She has like a million lines on one of those. God, I can't even think of it because all we have is cell phones now. But one of those landlines, you know, in an office where you see all the different lines and they're all blinking red. She cancels her root canal because, this ain't my body. I'm not getting a root canal for you. Evan shows up. She answers the phone again and cancels her wedding caterer because they want to cook, I think, haddock. So she's like, fish, ew, no. It's going tits up, people. Like, the life is going tits up. Meanwhile, Anna is in class and she realizes that she recognizes Mr. Bates from somewhere, and it's not from school. Okay? Mr. Bates asks Anna about the themes in Hamlet, and she absolutely nails it because it's Tess, right? So Tess is intelligent, knows Hamlet, and he says you're overreaching and you get an F. I don't know any teacher who shouts out in class, you get an F! Like, this guy's nuts, dude. And he's just horrible. Meanwhile, Tess is in her office, and she just keeps saying to all her patients, how do you feel about that? While she literally just doodles Jake's name on her pad, which, honestly, I've had therapists like that, where they're just constantly like, well, how do you feel about that? And I'm like, dude, I could look in the mirror and say, how do I feel about that? I need some freaking help. Again, we go back to Anna. She's in class, and she approaches Mr. Bates after class to challenge him, and realizes that his name is actually Elton Bates, and she, Tess, knows him. Because he asked Tess to the prom in high school, she said no, and he's now taking it out on Anna. That's why he has a vendetta against her, and everyone realizes, okay, this is what's going on. Her parting words to him are amazing. Anna says, and by the way, she had a boyfriend and you were weird. I love that line. And you were weird, dude. Like, sorry. Like, Anna's band friends are waiting for her in the door and they ask her about the Wango Tango audition and she says, no, it's not going to happen. They say, your mom is ruining our lives. I never cared about their music. And Anna apparently constantly talks about how her mom hasn't paid any attention to her since she started dating Ryan. This clearly upsets Anna, Tess, in Anna's body, but her friends walk off dejected and are upset that she, didn't fight for them, right? Anna is waiting for her ride outside school, and Tess speeds up in the car, I think it's a Honda, that she'd crashed a day before, that then Tess picked up from the dealership today or whatever. Anna is forced to get into the passenger seat because she doesn't have a permit. So I don't know how old she is at this point. I don't know when you can start driving in the US with a permit. Is it 15? Is it 17? I'm not sure. Anna is eating French fries in the car because she realizes that her young body won't be affected by it. And she says, as Tess, It's her first French fry in 8 years. When I saw this moment in the movie, I had to look up how old Jamie Lee Curtis was when she filmed this movie. Jamie Lee Curtis was 44, so this woman has not eaten a French fry since she was 36 years old. No, don't do that to yourself. Horrible. No. Anna and Tess apparently went to House of Chang. They storm in, and Pei realizes that her mom switched their bodies or facilitated it. So clearly this has happened before. Pei says that she cannot fix them. Only when the fortune comes true will they switch back. Pei so kindly offers them 10% off of wedding catering as compensation, which they accept because Tess had cancelled the caterer because of the haddock. Anna comforts Tess outside the restaurant, and this is really the first time we see them kind of one of them supporting the other and being open with each other, and I really love this moment. Tess's Palm Pilot goes off, and she realizes that Harry has a teacher-parent conference. She gets there, and the teacher tells Tess that Harry is being bullied. Tess calls him a wimp. The teacher is taken aback, but is very sweet, and just keeps trying to go ahead and sing Harry's praises while Tess just keeps dogging on him. The teacher then produces a paper that Harry wrote titled, "Why My Big Sister's the Greatest." Aww. So he's talking about Anna, and the teacher realizes that she's gotten through to Tess because of how Tess is reacting when she sees this. Harry asks Tess not to tell Anna that he likes her because he enjoys the fighting. So cute. I don't have siblings, so I don't get that. I would not enjoy fighting. It would probably make me cry, so, whatever. Tess arrives home with Harry to be greeted by Ryan, who loves her new look. I mean, I don't blame you, dude. And Jamie Lee Curtis's physical comedy in this moment is so good. She starts ducking and diving while Ryan is trying to kiss her and ends up doing like this backflip roll thing over the back of the couch and just pops right back up. I mean, she's amazing in this role, for real. Ryan tells Tess he has a surprise for her, and Ryan and the grandpa rush her out of the house to go greet or get the surprise. We cut to a apparently TV studio, and the surprise is that Ryan has gotten her a segment or an interview on the Dottie Robertson show, which I guess is like Oprah or something, or like Sally Fields from is that a name? Sally from the 90s. It's a huge TV studio, like I said. Tess is panicking because she has to talk about the book, which from the beginning, it's like this ridiculous book. It's got like a word in it, senescence or something, that no one knows what that means. And she literally gets pushed on the stage by a producer. Again, the physical comedy is like prime time. So good. Tess picks up the book on the table, tries to skim it real quick, and she can't even pronounce the title. Meanwhile, Anna has gone into a math test with Stacy Hinkhouse. And she tried to kind of placate Stacy and say, look, we used to be best friends in 6th grade. Why don't we just, like, hang out? This is weird. Let's do it. Stacy's like, oh, sure. Butter wouldn't melt. Come sit by me. They're in their test, and Stacy gets Anna's attention by putting a note on her desk that says, I'm so glad we're friends again. And immediately when Anna looks over at this note, Stacy raises her hand and says that Anna is copying her. Back to detention for Anna, which I think is the 3rd time in the movie. She sees the detention teacher nodding off, so Anna decides to sneak out of the classroom, and Jake catches her. And this is the part where we find out that Jake actually works at the school. Did anyone else know that? I think my ADHD just passed that by when I was a teenager, and all the other times I've rewatched this movie. He works at the school? Okay, so she's 17 in real life. I'm hoping she's 17 in the movie at this point. He's 22 in real life. Is he playing a 22-year-old who works at the school and is now hitting on this 17-year-old? This is the other thing, other than the Asian cultural voodoo stuff, that is like, oh, I don't know about this, guys. This really wouldn't fly. I feel like if they remade the movie as it is, that Jake would be like a senior, right? Like 18. And she would be like sophomore? I don't know what that is. Junior? I don't know. Whatever. Not a freshman, because, that's really young. But he basically offers to help her. Super inappropriate if you're an employee, dude, but whatever. He takes her to the teacher's lounge, and they find Anna's test so that she can change her answers. Like, stage 1 grooming. Like, hello, oh, let me ingratiate you to myself. Whatever. We see Tess back in the TV studio. She's skimming through her book, and the interview with Dolly Robertson starts. She says, "Tell us about your new book." And Tess says, "I wrote it." Everyone laughs, and Dolly realizes this might be kind of a difficult interview, but everything she's saying, the audience is kind of lapping it up. We go back to Anna and Jake in the teacher's lounge, and Anna finds Stacy Hinkhouse's paper, erases all the answers, and writes on it in pencil, "I'm stupid." Huh. We go back to Tess, and she's giving strange responses. Again, the audience really likes it, though. She's loose, she's free. Anna sees the interview with Jake on TV in the teacher's lounge and starts panicking. But we see Jake is actually smiling and seems to actually like Tess's vibe on TV, which is actually Anna's vibe. He calls Tess cool. Like, okay, dude. Okay, so you were into the daughter or whatever for 5 minutes, and now you're into this random woman on TV. Like, blah, whatever. Anna asks Jake for a ride on his motorcycle, but he blows her off and says, "You seem different to who I thought you were," because he saw her edit Stacy Hinkhouse's, test. It's like, dude, you're the one who brought me into the teacher's lounge to, like, cheat. Whatever, Mr. Virtuous. Meanwhile, we cut back to the TV studio, and we find out that Tess has been escorted out after signing a producer's butt. It's the same producer that pushed her on stage. It's so funny. She goes to grab coffee, and we see that Jake is at his second job at the coffee shop. He tells Tess that she's great and that he saw her on TV, and they get a coffee together. They're talking about the vines, they're connecting, they're leaning in, they start singing an alt rendition of "Hit Me Baby One More Time," whatever. And Tess suddenly realizes that he's connecting with her and her body, and that freaks her out because she's actually Anna in her mom's body. Tess runs out of the coffee shop telling him she's getting married tomorrow, and he literally just, starts acting like her boyfriend. Like, dude, you met this woman 10 minutes ago, would you chill? He offers to give her a ride on his motorcycle, and we cut to Jamie Lee Curtis gripping this guy's waist so hard and smiling like a Cheshire cat. It's so funny. While they're driving on the motorcycle, Ryan actually sees them and is very confused and starts calling after her. Tess gets home. Anna is already dressed up for the rehearsal dinner, looking great, and she's angry at Tess. Tess goes to get ready, and I'm telling you guys, this reveal of Jamie Lee Curtis, Tess, coming out of the closet is so stunning. It's super casual. Like, she just opens the closet, it's like, whatever, it's not even a full-length shot. But, man, she looks amazing in this black dress and her new hair. Like, she's super serving in this moment. I really feel that, this is just a love letter to how amazing Jamie Lee Curtis is. Maybe this is what this whole episode is about. Tess begs Anna to let her date Jake, and she says, "Not in Ryan's fiance's body, you can't." Like, ew, duh. They talk about the fact that Anna, real Anna, is upset about Tess and Ryan getting married, but they don't really get anywhere in the conversation. She asks if it's about her dad, and they just kind of are like, "Why won't you talk about it?" Blah, blah. Ryan comes up the stairs and is shouting about Tess riding on Jake's motorcycle. They argue, and Anna steps in to help her mom, which is another moment of this kind of love and support between the two main characters. And Anna says that she actually approves of Jake because he's a really nice guy, which is actually Tess, saying to Anna in Tess's body, "I approve, wink, wink." They head off to the rehearsal dinner, and Jake is apparently outside their house, what's that movie? The one with the guy with the boom box holding it up outside? And he's singing again the Hit Me Baby One More Time, because now that's their song, I guess. And he's a terrible singer. And Anna goes outside and runs at him like a freaking linebacker and takes this guy out so hard, just as the rest of the family are leaving the house so they don't see him. Anna starts lecturing him about liking an older woman, and he's like, what are you talking about? She looks great, which is not wrong. I mean, get it. Anna argues with him and kisses him to try to, like, snap him out of it, but he's not interested, and she slaps him in the face and storms off. She slaps him to, like, get him to break out of it, not because she's like, how dare you? They all get to the rehearsal dinner, and I've only been to one of these before, and it was maybe like 30 people in a private room eating. This rehearsal dinner is freaking insane. It's like the biggest restaurant I've ever seen, and there are so many people there. I mean, it's at least 100 people. It's insane. Peg and Maddie, Anna's friends from the band, walk into the restaurant, and they seem to have some kind of sneaky plan. Anna approaches Tess. She has the fortune, and they need to get away somewhere together to try to switch back to figure it out. So they go to a corner of the restaurant and read the fortune again. They realize that they need to display selfless love. They hold hands. Anna's like doing like an kind of thing, but it doesn't work. All of a sudden, they spot Jake, the saboteur, like, what are you doing, dude? You just met this older woman, like, half a day ago, and you're gonna come in and destroy her wedding? Okay, bro. Whatever. While Tess is looking at Jake, Peg and Maddie snatch Anna away, covering her mouth to take her to the Wango Tango audition, which is apparently only a block away from the rehearsal dinner. So honestly, I don't even know why this is an argument. Like, you could have gone to the audition for 20 minutes and come right back, whatever. It just seems like maybe this is a sign of the times. We didn't have maps back then. Like, wouldn't you have just Google mapped it and been like, dude, we can, like, be there in an Uber in, like, 2 minutes, done, boom, whatever. Anna protests because she obviously doesn't know how to play the guitar because she's Tess in Anna's body, and Maddie and Peg whip out duct tape. Meanwhile, Tess jumps Jake at the rehearsal dinner at the bar, literally jumps on him and pulls him behind the bar, demanding to know what he's doing there. He's acting like a lovesick puppy, and then we see that security has apparently captured Anna's band friends. Ryan realizes what's going on because no one told him about the audition, and he's such a stand-up guy. He literally is like, Anna should do the audition. Like, Ryan is such the unsung hero of this movie. Or maybe he's the sung hero. I don't know. He's the hero of the movie, to be honest. He's such a great guy. And I love how they, just made him a great guy. Like, just made it like, he's so supportive, he's loving, he understands that that Tess has kids, that they're in the mix. He's such a great guy. And I can't wait to see, they've talked about a potential sequel recently on social media, or I think that it's even going ahead, or they want it to go ahead. And I'd love to see that, because I bet Anna and Ryan in that sequel would have such a great relationship that is developed. So basically, the girls, the Maddie, Peg, and Anna go off to do the audition. Ryan and Tess stay behind at the rehearsal dinner, and Ryan says he doesn't want to be put in the role of the insensitive stepfather. And Tess, who's the real Anna, realizes that he actually is a good guy, and he tells Tess to go watch her daughter do the audition. It's the right thing. And this is probably the first time that I tear up in the movie. The first time that I'm like, oh, and just tear up uncontrollably. Cut to the House of Blues, where I guess the Wango Tango audition is happening, and the place is packed. Anna is panicking backstage, her band tries to support her, and this is another thing, they really are pretty good friends to her. They really are all about, like, pushing her forward in what she loves and what she wants to do. And they tell her even that they'll still love her even if she blows this audition, which it's like, well, that's likely. And Anna says, how hard can it be? Oh girl. Yeah, it's gonna be hard. Tess is in the audience at the Wango Tango audition, and Jake shows up again. This guy. Now it's time for the ultimate debut of Pink Slip. Anna looks terrified. They start playing, she's trying to strum, kind of, and it comes out, like, at first she's not doing anything, and then she's like, I'll strum the guitar. And if you strum an electric guitar and you don't know what you're doing, it's kind of like playing the violin when you don't know what you're doing. It's so loud and so crazy. More panic ensues. Jake is watching from the audience, and Anna runs off stage because she's panicked to find Tess waiting in the wings. Tess tells Anna, I've unplugged your guitar, so all you have to do is fake it like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones, and I will play off stage for you, a la Singin' in the Rain. And if you don't know that reference, after this episode, go watch Singing in the Rain. It's amazing. So Anna goes back on stage with her unplugged guitar. She's lightly fake strumming, but still looks like absolutely terrified. But Anna's solo that we saw in the garage at the beginning of the movie is about to kick in, and her entire band is staring at her like, dude, this is the crux of the song. Like, you need to do this. And this part of the movie sends me every time over the edge, emotionally, vibrationally. I don't know, I can't think of any other elite words, but oh my god. Basically, we hear the craziest guitar riff ever. Anna snaps her head, and we see Jamie Lee frickin' Curtis whiling out on a guitar. Every time this happens, I immediately tear up. Like, you hear the row, and I just tear. Like, it happens. I don't even know why. It's just so emotional, and the music just gets me. And Jamie Lee Curtis looks fire in this moment. Her playing face is one of the best guitar faces I think I've ever seen. And it's just, oh my god. This might be, like I said, a whole episode just about how I love Jamie Lee Curtis and have a crush on her. She's amazing. The crowd goes wild, and Anna starts doing the craziest fake playing of a guitar or anything ever that I've ever seen. She's like 50s hopping while cheesy smiling. She doesn't even have her fingers on the strings. It's amazing. Jake screams from the audience, Anna, you rock! Okay, so he's sold. He's like, Anna, Tess, I guess I'm on Anna now. Whatever, dude. Thank God he didn't see Tess play the guitar, because he probably would have, like, melted into a puddle right there. Backstage, after the audition, we hear from some guy off camera that you're in. I don't really know what that means, but I guess it means they're performing at Wango Tango with, I guess, Christina Aguilera. Anna tells Tess that her music is great, and they both run off stage to go back to the rehearsal dinner, just as Jake runs backstage, closely missing them. Anna sees Ryan at the rehearsal dinner and is teary. This is really, the emotion just keeps building here. Because Anna knows, Tess is in Anna's body, Anna knows that they can't go through with the wedding while they're still in each other's bodies. Like, I'm guessing he's going to expect sex the wedding night, or, you know, you're going to have to kiss at the wedding at least. It's been a day and they haven't kissed or anything, so, you know. So Anna tells Tess to tell Ryan that they need to postpone the wedding. And I love this line. Anna says, if he loves me like I think he does, he'll understand. Oh, you hear that? I just, like that, I'm just even thinking about it. That teared me up. Like, oh, this movie is so good. Tess agrees and walks over to the table with Ryan. But instead of actually pulling him aside and talking to him, she calls for a toast by, you know, knocking her knife on the cup, on the glass. Anna realizes that Tess is going to go through with the wedding. And this is actually the first time that we really hear what happened to Anna's dad. Tess talks about how he died a few years ago. She gives this amazing speech, basically talking to Anna the whole time while they're both tearing up. She calls Ryan special, and right at that moment, when she finishes her speech, another earthquake happens because she has committed an act of selfless love. Everyone in the restaurant feels it because they're both in the room there. The fortune is fulfilled, and they switch their bodies back. Anna, who is now the Anna, so when I refer to Anna now, it's Anna as Anna and Tess as Tess. Anna welcomes Ryan into the family, and she grabs a glass and makes a little speech as well. we cut to, Tess and Ryan kiss at the rehearsal dinner, which cuts to their wedding day and their kiss. Anna and Tess lovingly look at each other on the wedding dance floor, and it's a really gorgeous outdoor wedding, really cute, garden LA wedding. Tess thanks Anna, and Anna tells her that she loves her, just as Jake walks back into the wedding. Okay, great, honestly, back in the day, I thought this was, such a great love story, and now I'm just how old is this guy? You work at the school. What's happening? I don't know. And also, you, loved my mom for 8 hours. You're so fickle. But whatever. Maybe he is really young because he's so fickle. I don't know. So he says to Anna, Jake says, I feel really stupid. Yesterday was freaky. So the wedding's on a Saturday. And he wants to start all over again. They dance at the wedding. Anna's clearly sure, whatever. And Jake talks about their kiss, but Tess was in Anna's body at the time, so she's remind me how that goes again. They smooch. But seriously, give me some clarity on these ages. I don't know. Meanwhile, we see Harry and Grandpa, they're arguing. Grandpa wants Harry to go approach some, child. Harry's a child. And they start arguing. House of Chang, Pei and her mom are at the wedding because they are the wedding caterer now. And the mom approaches them with a couple of fortune cookies. No! Someone rein this woman in, dude. Poor Pei is just what is my mother doing? That's the other thing. Why is this woman so obsessed with this? I don't know. Pei sees what's happening and runs literally screaming at Grandpa and Harry and tackles them just as they are about to open the fortune cookies. She picks them up and sees that they didn't open the fortune cookies, so she saved the day. And we're left with an awesome final credit scene where Pink Slip is playing at the wedding, but it seems more like a real performance because Lindsay Lohan breaks the fourth wall by actually looking at the camera. She's barefoot in her lilac, satin outfit for the wedding. It's very cool. All I will say is that the song in the final credits is nowhere near as good as the, song that is used throughout the movie. It's very blah. So I don't know who wrote the songs, the Pink Slip songs, but that first one is fire. It's everything. And that's the end of the movie, guys. That's my lowdown of Freaky Friday from 2003. The good, the bad, the ugly, and the in-between. And next month, on the second to last Thursday of October, I'm going to be rewatching and recapping Scream. It is one of my favorite movies. It is the first horror movie I ever watched, and the true one that I really love. It's from 1996. If you haven't seen it, watch it in October before I do the episode. I'm actually planning to watch Scream 4 on October 31st as a tribute, and I can't wait to be back again with you. Don't forget, we're every Wednesday, regular episodes, every month, second to last Thursday, Film Fixation. I'll see you again on My Brain is a Wonderland, Season 2.